For much of modern history, geopolitical power was measured by the size of an army, the reach of a navy, or the number of military bases a nation controlled. Today, that equation is changing. The most influential competition of the 21st century is no longer centered only on territorial control. It is increasingly defined by technology, supply chains, industrial capacity, and economic resilience. This is why I believe the Indo-Pacific has become one of the most strategically important regions in the world. China has spent decades building one of the largest manufacturing ecosystems in history. From electronics and renewable energy to advanced industrial production, Beijing has invested heavily in creating an interconnected economic network that supports both domestic growth and global influence. The Belt and Road Initiative further expanded that vision by connecting infrastructure, ports, logistics, and trade routes across multiple continents. But influence built on interconnected networks also creates strategic vulnerabilities. The more globalized a manufacturing system becomes, the more it depends on uninterrupted access to technology, raw materials, energy supplies, and secure maritime trade. Modern economies are no longer sustained by factories alone. They depend upon an entire ecosystem of semiconductors, rare earth minerals, digital infrastructure, shipping corridors, and resilient supply chains. This is where India's strategy becomes particularly interesting. Rather than attempting to compete directly through military confrontation, New Delhi has gradually expanded strategic partnerships across the Indo-Pacific with countries that contribute different strengths to a shared regional framework. Instead of building a single alliance focused on defense alone, India is strengthening cooperation in areas that increasingly define economic and technological power. Technology is one of those pillars. Japan remains among the world's leading centers for advanced manufacturing, semiconductor innovation, digital technologies, and industrial engineering. As cooperation between India and Japan expands across technology development, shipbuilding, and advanced manufacturing, it contributes to broader efforts aimed at strengthening diversified innovation networks throughout the Indo-Pacific. A second pillar involves critical minerals. Modern industries, from electric vehicles to renewable energy systems and advanced defense technologies, depend heavily on reliable access to minerals such as lithium and cobalt. Australia possesses significant reserves of many of these strategic resources, making cooperation in mining, processing, and supply chain development increasingly important for countries seeking long-term industrial resilience. Viewed individually, these partnerships may appear unrelated, but when examined together, they reveal a broader strategic pattern. Rather than competing through military escalation, India is investing in technology, industrial cooperation, resource security, and economic connectivity, demonstrating that in today's geopolitical environment, influence is increasingly built through networks rather than confrontation. If technology and critical minerals represent two pillars of India's Indo-Pacific strategy, then geography is the third. Few maritime corridors are more strategically significant than the Malacca Strait. This narrow passage links the Indian Ocean with the Pacific and serves as one of the world's busiest commercial sea lanes. A substantial portion of global trade and energy shipments passes through this route every year, making it essential not only for regional economies, but also for international supply chains. For China, this waterway has long represented a strategic concern. A large share of its imported energy and international commerce relies on uninterrupted access through the Malacca Strait. That dependence has often been described by strategists as the Malacca Dilemma, the challenge of relying on a narrow maritime corridor that could become vulnerable during periods of heightened geopolitical tension. India's response, however, is not centered on confrontation. Instead of attempting to control the waterway through military pressure, New Delhi has expanded maritime cooperation with regional partners, including Indonesia. Cooperation around Sabang Port, located near the entrance to the Malacca Strait, together with India's strategic position in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, improves maritime awareness and strengthens regional connectivity across one of the world's most important shipping corridors. This reflects a broader strategic philosophy. Modern influence is no longer determined solely by military bases or naval fleets. Increasingly, it depends on trusted partnerships, shared infrastructure, resilient supply chains, and the ability to coordinate with like-minded nations during periods of uncertainty. When viewed separately, India's partnerships with Japan, Australia, and Indonesia appear to address different issues. But together, they form an interconnected framework. Advanced technology from Japan, critical minerals from Australia, and maritime cooperation with Indonesia each strengthen a different layer of regional resilience. Rather than depending on a single source for innovation, resources, or logistics, diversification itself becomes a strategic advantage. The past few years have reinforced this lesson. The pandemic exposed the fragility of global supply chains. Geopolitical tensions disrupted trade, technology exports, and energy markets. These experiences encouraged many governments to rethink how economic security and national security increasingly overlap. Ultimately, I believe India's Indo-Pacific strategy is less about containing another nation and more about preparing for a future in which resilience becomes the foundation of influence. The next great geopolitical competition may not be decided only by military power. It will also depend on who can build stronger supply chains, secure critical resources, foster technological innovation, and maintain reliable partnerships across an increasingly interconnected world. Because in the Indo-Pacific, the strongest strategic walls are often invisible. They are built through cooperation, connectivity, and the resilience of the networks that sustain modern economies.